To be honest, no. Have have just like a normal type conversation. Like with it being expired, the sellers might not want to sell it.
Mm,
Um, but that's usually not the case. It just like things didn't come together.
yeah.
You could also reach out directly to the sellers if you try to look up their
Okay.
information somehow, like skip trace it using some service or something like that, and let them know that you have someone willing to buy it if they're still willing to sell it. Then, if it doesn't work out with that investor, you could always try to list it,
Okay.
kind of an idea.
Just take it on as a listing and post it on MLS.
Yep, yep. Yeah, a
Would
lot
that
of
work?
people
Because we
use
can't do, oh dang, dual agency, because then I would be
yeah.
going, so that would
Yeah,
be
so you
tricky.
wouldn't represent the seller as you make the offer, you're representing the buyer. If for whatever reason that doesn't work out, you can call the seller and say, hey, it looks like this didn't work out. I'd love to go find you a new buyer. Can I list your home? Kind of an idea.
Oh, okay,
And
yeah.
then
So
you
even if the
list the
investor
seller.
falls out,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
okay. I'm gonna remember that. That's smart.
yeah. Yeah, because if you reach out to the listing agent that it expired, which is a good thing, by the way. That's I
Mm,
would love if someone reached out to me if I ever had an expired listing, because you
that's
probably
what I,
found it because of uh, the listing agent posting it online and now it expired. So it is the right and good thing to do, but you could try to go around them to um, get the an offer directly to the
yeah,
sellers and then take that listing.
yeah, I'm gonna try and do that today.
Yeah.
That'd be my first deal. That would be my first closing if I can get it to work out
Hey, fingers crossed.
with a random investor from California that I found
I
on Facebook. Like, what are the odds of that? Pretty crazy.
love it though.
See ya. All right, well, that was my only question. I gotta go make some breakfast so I can get to the meeting on time, but appreciate it.
Okay, go eat some breakfast. We'll see you in a bit.
Thanks. See ya.
Amy, hello.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hey, I have a special surprise, but you're the only one that gets to hear about it.
All right. I'm can't wait.
Um, as you see, we have a new person on the call, Brittany here. She is just added on to help us with all the transactions. So
No
she's
way.
working with Jeanette, and we're gonna let Jeanette do all of her crazy busy life that she has, and Brittany's gonna start helping us out.
Oh, that's so great.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah,
news.
I know, but
Well,
no
I
one else
haven't met
jumped
you,
on.
Brittany, but your name looks familiar.
Oh, well, that's something at least. That's great. Nice to meet you, Amy.
Amy's gonna be your favorite because she's like a rock star and she's
I'm
so
gonna say, I
nice.
know I've seen you at like team meetings and things like that. So,
Yeah. Um, well, while you're on here, I'm getting ready for a buyer presentation this evening,
Nice.
and I have my buyer broker agreement printed off and ready to go. And I'd love to just ask a couple questions if that's okay.
yeah,
Ooh,
let's do it.
Brittany in the hot seat. I love this already.
I know. Day one already. I like it.
Okay, I have it all printed. I just put both of their names as the buyer. I put 6 months for the end date.
Okay.
Now, for listing, I know Lee Stern said something like, oh, you can fire me anytime.
Right.
I would
Yeah.
to say that. These are new buyers. I hate for them to feel like they're locking into me for 6 months
Mm-hmm.
if we haven't even really worked together. So, what's the best way to approach that going through the buyer broker agreement in the consultation?
Yeah. I mean, as far as documentation, what I remember from Lee Stern is she just writes it in an addendum. that essentially says either party can cancel at any time with no penalty, essentially, is what she does. Cameron, does that sound right?
Yep. I was wondering if I have her exact email.
Yeah, she might have it. So I would say if you want to do something like that, you would just put it in an addendum to the buyer broker.
Mm.
So yeah.
What do you suggest? I mean, I don't want people, it's nice to be able to say that. If I were signing something and I haven't really worked with them, that's a lot. Or what do you
Yeah.
guys suggest?
So you can do it not in paperwork and
Mhm.
just let them know if you're ever not happy, satisfied, or whatever goes on. We can cancel this agreement anytime. Just let me know.
Okay,
Uh, so it's not in writing, which is some people are okay with that, and other people
Yeah.
want it in writing,
okay,
and that's where the addendum would be better.
Yeah.
okay,
Well, and you could even, if you didn't want to put it in writing in an addendum, you could even just take a copy of a cancellation form and say, hey, if for any reason either one of us wanted to cancel this agreement, we have a form for that. We would cancel it and there would be no penalty
Oh.
to either one. So if you didn't want to write it and they like sign it in an addendum, it could just be, just so you know, this is the form, this is how easy it is to get out of this if we needed to, kind of a thing.
okay,
So
okay. And if for some reason I don't have the form, I can even just say, there's a form that's easy to fill out to cancel. Just knowing that maybe, I just like that. Thank you.
yeah, totally. How'd you find these buyers?
They are friends of my friend. No, sorry. They're the son of my friend.
Oh, okay.
So
Nice.
I'm buyers and we were at some big dinner at their home and I was just talking to them and they were renting
Mhm.
and they'd like to move in January.
Okay, nice. So you have some time to get them on the
Yeah, time, but also I feel like it's time to move, right?
yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't
you
know.
rented it will be January.
Yeah. So like if they want to move in January, do we want to be signing things in December, like going under contract in December, right?
Yep.
East. Yeah.
Yeah, I just kind of want to show them it takes a while. So if we are signing in December or putting an offer in December, that would be about right. That means looking in October and November.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so typically it's like a 30-day close. Around Christmas, that's going to add some more time just because people do less. You know, everyone takes like that whole week of Christmas off, sometimes even the next week because then it's New Year's. So there's not a lot going on those 2 weeks. And so things don't progress as quickly then. Who knows about the
Okay.
weather? Maybe it starts snowing and it slows things down for the inspection,
Mhm.
things like that. So it's not weird to have like a 45-day close if you're straddling some of these holidays as well.
Yeah, I
Okay.
would say your goal should be for like mid-November is when you want to be under contract with like closing and possessing by start of January.
Okay. So if we were going under contract mid-November and
Do a
I would,
45-day close. You could
Mhm.
if
move
I
in.
was, they move in January, they skip January's mortgage payment, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you officially closed like January 3rd or something like that, then you don't pay January, you don't pay February, your first payment is in March.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. That's helpful to remind them.
Yeah. So it all depends on what their move out situation looks like, right? If they need to move like the 1st of January, which most landlords don't want that to be the day that someone moves out because then they have to go rent it and no one wants to move in January. So I imagine the landlord would be very open to let them stay longer, like whatever that looks like. So you could figure out, do they want to be in the 1st of January or do they want to move in January?
Okay, I got my needs analysis ready. I'll make sure that's on here.
Love it.
I'll make sure that's on there. Okay, then I put all counties. I'm gonna write in the buyer compensation because I just don't like to see that set in stone because it's negotiable. I want to talk it through.
Great.
What are you gonna get? What are you asking for?
Tell them I like to put 3% on the form because a lot of times they're looking at new builds and a lot of times builders will do 3%, no problem. And so if we put anything lower and the builder would offer 3%, I wouldn't get that. And then I'll say, now this is negotiable. If we put in 3% and they say 2.5% back, I'll tell them I would be okay with 2.5%.
Yeah. Can I change that a little bit?
Please.
So it is negotiable, but I don't want you to call it that. I want you to express that you will negotiate with the sellers to have them cover it.
That's a better way. Okay.
Because
Yep.
that way they're not gonna come in and hear, oh, it's negotiable and be like, let's do 2 or something.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that, and you can let them know even just like the process, like I am going to put it in and negotiate for me to earn my income. If I am unable to negotiate this in, there is like an acceptable range where I feel like I got paid for the work that I did and I'm fine. Not to the level that I should, that like the 3% like we agreed on. And if it ends up being there, like I'm fine. If not, I'll try to get the lender to pay a little bit of this. And then if worst case scenario, it's not an acceptable range, then that's where we would have to have a conversation on what we would want to do to get me paid. You'll notice that is very vague. I'm not even saying that they will have to pay it. It's we are going to have a conversation on how I'm going to get paid. So I'm
Okay.
not lying to them, but I'm also not saying you have to pay me.
Okay.
Because that's
Uh,
probably not going to happen. I bet a
Right.
seller will pay you enough to keep you happy.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I like that.
Yeah. So I'm going to negotiate with the sellers to have them pay this. If they don't, I'll try to get the lender to pay a little bit. Worst case scenario, we'll have a conversation on how I'll get paid.
Okay. So you would start and just say, I don't even want to say I charge 3%. Like
Yeah, I
how would,
say how I get paid.
mhm.
Like this is the section on how I get paid. It's 3% of the purchase price. And usually
Okay.
I'm able to negotiate that with the sellers. If I'm not, then I'm going to try with the lender or a couple of other different ways. And then worst case scenario, you and I will have a discussion on how I can get paid. And then they might have questions like, what does that mean? And then that's when you say, if no one's able to pay me, I need to get paid somehow. And so that's usually where it comes back to you as a buyer. However, that is not very common even in today's landscape when things just change. So that way they, okay. And then they sign things.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. I'll probably just highlight a few of the things I want to go over just so that I can have it highlighted for them. So I remember the parts that are most important. And then, yeah, have them sign and I'll sign.
Love it. Do you know what to do once you sign it and you have it all ready to go?
Well, in past, I've given it to Jeanette and she's uploaded it for me. That's what we've done before.
That's basically it. There's 2 ways. You either send it to Brittany, and she'll upload it in Command, or you create an opportunity and you'll put it in the opportunity.
Okay. And
Which
I'm
one you
not
do.
Okay, I'm not planning to bring, okay, with the addendum, with like the wire fraud and the title company, I think I had to check something there. Where'd that go?
So my opinion, and Brittany might not like me for this, is I don't get any of that signed. I only get the buyer broker agreement signed. It's like a new relationship, and like I don't want to spring all of this baggage on people. I just want to be like, hey, it's a first date. You like me enough for a second date, kind of a thing. And then when you do an offer, I always let them know, hey, by the way, I have a bunch of other paperwork to send you um, about like the whole closing process, wire fraud, you should get a home inspection, like all of these things. I'm going to have my transaction coordinator, Brittany, send you these things.
Perfect. That's what I'd like to do.
Okay. Ideally, I would like to have those disclosures done before an offer is put in,
Yeah,
just because then it doesn't overwhelm them. They're already thinking about the offer, and to have more documents come at them at the same time, they start second guessing their offer. So I prefer you, when you go into the buyer consultation, just do the buyer broker agreement. I think that's fine. But then say, hey, within the next couple of days, my transaction coordinator is going to send you the rest of the documents that we need in order to start your file.
I like
love
that.
it.
I like that. Yeah. So you're
That way
doing the
it's not
important thing.
overwhelming at one place or another. And it's just another touch point for you in between when you first sat down with them and when you go to show them a home.
That
Awesome.
is a
Perfect.
great idea, Brittany. I love
I-
that.
I checked that there are additional items in the addendum. But if we're not sending it right away, does that mean
Are you
it's
talking
like,
in section 10?
yeah,
No, there are not additional terms. So that's only if you're going to do an addendum. Like if you're gonna do an addendum about cancellation, maybe. But
Okay.
even then, I rarely use that. I don't know if that's correct, but I've rarely used that at all. So,
okay, I'll change that.
So,
Perfect.
Amy, in the chat, I put red sign. They had an easy exit addendum, and that is
Oh.
what they put in there.
Okay,
Um, it
they put that whole thing in the addendum.
Yeah, yeah. I actually
Wow.
took a few lines out too.
Oh, wow.
Um, and they actually printed it out and labeled it easy exit agreement number one,
Gotcha.
kind of a thing. And so it was a complete separate form that looked like an addendum, but it was just this
I see.
writing on it. So you could probably take something like this. I wonder if Dean also has something ready to go.
you know what, I kind of like just telling them that it's an option, and I like the cancellation agreement form.
Yeah.
I do too. And Dean would probably prefer that because then you're not writing up weird addendum.
Yeah.
Dean's all about keeping the addendum as straightforward and minimal as possible, but
Okay, I think that sounds good. Okay, I have to run. This was super helpful. Brittany, it's so good to meet you.
you too,
Um,
Amy.
I'm in the middle of a sale with I'm the listing agent.
Oh, very cool.
It was supposed to close on Friday, but the buyers are asking for more time.
Okay.
Not going to close Friday. Jeanette's kind of been in the middle of that. I'm a little bracing myself. I know my clients are going to be really upset that they're asking for an extension. So I'm hoping today goes okay.
Good luck.
Fingers crossed
I
for
mean,
you.
we have to either allow them to extend
Right.
or won't go through with it.
Right.
And my sellers would get the earnest money, but we'd have to start over again. So I feel like there's not a lot we can do. We have to just
How long are they wanting to extend for?
1 week.
Okay. Inconvenient, but doable for sure. Yeah.
Would it be, is it possible to ask? I don't know if it would help my clients get the earnest money now, so that they could use that. I don't know if that would help them at all. Is that,
Yep, that's a
Any-
thing you can do. You can have them
Yeah.
release earnest money to your sellers if they would want that. You could have them put down more earnest money. Sometimes that slows the loan down though, because now it changes how much they are
Yeah.
putting down.
and that's the problem. The loan officer is saying it's taking forever. The loan officer is like, the clients live in Japan, and so it's taking longer. Something seems up a little bit, like,
Yeah.
it sounds
I
like
think it's
excuses.
just that they're being very slow communicating with the time difference is probably
Mhm.
why. They
Yeah,
send an email at 9 a.m., which is night for them, and then they respond at night, but then the loan officer doesn't respond to the morning,
yeah,
those kind of things. That's what takes long.
yeah. So anyways, hopefully that will go fine. I mean, I'm kind of like, there's not a lot we can do, but I could offer, that is one thing I could tell my client, is if it helps to get the 15 grand earnest money, so they can go to have it for their next, they're gonna do Airbnb for a little while. That's
Yeah.
something I could offer.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah. And then it's just an addendum to say that that was released to the sellers. So then the title company knows that it's already been released, and then they won't give that much money to the sellers and blah, blah, blah. So
okay, awesome. Well, wish me luck with that today. I know
hey,
it's,
good luck.
I know my
I don't know
client
if you
well
need any
enough.
help with it.
Okay, thank you.
You'll do
Okay.
awesome. It'll be great.
Thanks. Well, thanks so much. It was a great
Yep, we'll talk to
morning.
you soon. Have a
Okay,
great one. See you at team meeting.
you too.
Bye.
Bye.